Welcome to Success Revenue Podcast, the only podcast in the Middle East that brings you leaders in customer success, account management, sales, and go-to-market to share ideas, perspectives, and valuable learnings on how to successfully drive revenue, delight customers, and take it to the next level.
We are your hosts. I'm Almohannad Alsbeai, the CEO of RevSetter, the modern customer management platform. And with me, I have my lovely co-host, Ivy Ferrero, CS advisor, executive, and keynote speaker. And we're excited to bring you a long list of amazing guests this season. And today is no exception. We are super excited about the guest who brings a ton of CX and CS experience from the Saudi market. He is a true veteran in the CX space, a contributor to the community, to a lot of his published articles and coaching sessions and many other things that he'll talk about today. So I'm very excited about today's guest and the episode ahead. As to you, the takeaways that you'll take from this is the difference in the way that CS and CX can work together, and how CS is a critical part of CX and the overall revenue journey. We'll also speak about the impact of AI within CX. What is important to think about? What are some of the challenges that come up with that? And where do you start to effectively use AI within your CX programs? And last but not least, we'll have a lot of really great advice for CX leaders of how to scale organizations, teams, and how to show your real impact on the business to the executive team. So Ivy, super excited about today's episode. There are so many really interesting things that we'll jump into with today's guest, and I'm excited, but also I'm really pumped with energy because I just spent 3 days in Riyadh. Just got back early this morning, and it was so amazing to be there yet again. So many great companies, people to meet. I was at an event last night where I was speaking, and it was, you can really feel the energy from the CS and CX and kind of the post-sale community is really there. Its presence in the air. So yeah, I've been full go for 3 days getting into this episode, but just pumped with a ton of energy from it.
Wow, that's amazing. But tell me more. Were you there to conduct client meetings, or were you also jumping into different events as well?
Yeah, so I was there. I was invited to speak at an event, of the CS event there. So I was invited as one of the speakers. And then in connection with that, flew in a couple of days early to just meet with clients, a couple of our partners, prospective clients as well. So it was, 3 long days filled with meetings and all really great things. And then we wrapped that up with the event last night, which was also really good. It went long. It was a lot of good conversations, a lot of good questions from the audience. So we ended up going almost an hour over the event time that was allocated. But it was really amazing meeting a ton of great people, as always, in Riyadh. And I kind of keep getting surprised by how active the CS and business community is there, and it's growing. Obviously, CS is kind of still in that stage of growth, but you can really feel the energy from people, and everyone's really curious and wants to learn, which is exciting. Next time you have to join me in Riyadh for the next event.
Yeah, for sure. I'd love to go.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, Hader. Would you ever consider living in Riyadh?
I mean, Riyadh is it's a very cool city. Like before I went there the first time, I didn't really know what to expect. But after going there now a few times, it's a very cool city. It's very active. Food is amazing. So there's a lot of things that I wouldn't have considered before, but I think it's opening up my eyes as I go more there. I think ultimately, I mean, we really love living in Dubai. We've been here now for 6 months. It's great. Kids are settled in school, all that stuff. And that's always the thing once you have family, it's school and kids and everything settled. So from that perspective, I think Dubai is where we're going to be for the foreseeable future. But I think Riyadh is a city that surprises. I think that the community there is really friendly and hospitable. So never say never, but I'm happy in Dubai right now for sure.
Yeah, I would agree with you. Wow, Hader, can you believe it's been 6 months since you moved to Dubai? Every time I meet someone, Every time I meet someone, they say, "Oh, I've been here for 10 years." So it really seems like time speeds up once you're here. But What
Those.
I'm interested to find out what would be like some of the key learnings within the last 6 months that you've learned.
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, you can't say that you've been here for a year now because now you're like past that year, and now you're almost a year and a half, 2 years. So for you too, it's going fast, right? But I think for me, I'm curious to hear what your learnings are with more time even. One is it's a very social and open city, and what I mean by that is you can meet people everywhere. On with the playground with the kids, you'll meet some really cool people. When you're out somewhere at the beach or at a restaurant or something, people are open. They're kind of willing to talk and be social, and then you get to know people, and you kind of oh, let's exchange WhatsApps and let's meet. And the same thing I feel like is in the business side as well, where people are a lot more open to meeting and exchanging ideas and communicating and looking for community. So I think that's been really cool to see. We've had some of that from back home in LA, and kind of the West Coast US kind of mentality is more open, but it's even another level over here, which has been great and makes it really easy to come in. Obviously, moving to the region and moving to the city. And I think it's because almost everyone is an expat themselves. They've all been there initially and want to kind of meet people and socialize, so that kind of just sticks with them. So I think that's a big takeaway. And the second one is honestly why we're doing this. I feel like people are just really hungry for knowledge. They want to learn, especially in our space, CS, post sales, account management, CX, kind of all those post sales entities. People want to learn, they want community, they want to connect, they want to get perspectives from others, and there's not much of it out here. So that was something that was a little bit surprising, which is also why we're doing everything that we're doing to try to elevate the community. But that was the second thing that was interesting to see. What I figured it would have been more, but now you see there's just a lot of opportunity to do that and help people out. But those are my two kind of just high level things that are interesting. I think are interesting. How about you? What's your year plus, year and a half almost, and like what would be your one or two things?
Yeah, I mean, it's the first thing that I absolutely love is definitely how safe it is. I feel like from someone who has lived both in the US and in Mexico, I feel like I'm still in shock that this place is so, so, so safe. And as a woman, it feels quite regulating to my nervous system to be able to go grocery shopping and not have to look over my shoulder every
Mm,
single time. And I
yeah,
think you don't realize that you're so, you have like PTSD or that because like let's
yeah,
say if you go to a coffee shop and you leave your phone there and you come back and you're so surprised that the phone's still there.
right, yeah,
I think that's shocking. And then the second thing as well, I would say that I feel so productive and I feel with great ambition because I feel like Dubai is a place that brings a lot of people who are ambitious, who are
mm,
hungry, who
yeah,
are here to make it happen. So I think I feel incredibly blessed. I have some of my friends that ask me like, "Oh, would you go back to the US?" And yes, the US is amazing. There's a lot of opportunities and everything, but I actually think it's way better that we're here because the economy is thriving here. It's like, for me, if you can come up with a good business idea and it is actually solving a problem for a business, a huge problem, then you can come and do that here easily. And you can come in and be the first to do something which for me is really mind blowing. So yeah,
yeah,
overall, I feel super grateful to be here.
yeah. No, that's exciting. Yeah, I agree with you. A lot of those things, the safety piece, the ambition piece here, and there's the opportunity. Everyone's kind of looking to grow and do things. So if you're here, you have that opportunity, which is really exciting. Amazing, Ivy. And it's funny, actually, I'm excited to get into the conversation with the guest today because when I was in Riyadh, and I've talked to him before, I met him before, but we met just 2 days ago for a coffee, and I had a wonderful chat. So I think I was already kind of thinking about questions I want to ask him on the pod here today. So what do you say? Should we get into it and bring our guest on?
Yes, I'm so excited. I'm always so excited to meet people from Saudi, because I feel like they have a whole different perspective. So I'm so
Sure.
excited.
Awesome. Let's do it then. All right, let's go. All right, everyone. I am so excited, and it's my pleasure to introduce today's guest out with the podcast. Almohannad is the Customer Experience Director at Riva, based in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, and he brings us a ton of knowledge in the CX space and the Saudi market space that we're so excited to explore with him today. Mohammed is actively also a big contributor to the CX community. He publishes several articles, mainly in Arabic as well, across platforms like LinkedIn, Medium, CXArabia.com. And he's really passionate about helping elevating CX awareness across the entire region. Mohammed also offers free coaching sessions for your listeners out there in the CX space. So if you're a mid-career CX professional, he offers coaching sessions where he helps people refine their expertise and overcome career challenges. Really navigate the growth opportunities that exist within the CX space. And you can check out his LinkedIn page for session details. But a true contributor to the CX space, and really excited to have you on the podcast today, Mohammed. Welcome. It's a pleasure.
Thank you so much, Haidar, for the invitation and for the comprehensive introduction as well. I'm
Absolutely.
excited to go forward with our conversation. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm excited as well because you and I met a couple of days ago as well for coffee in Riyadh, and we talked, and you gave me a lot of your background as well in terms of what you've done so far. And I know that's a very inspirational story and how you build up CX and beyond. So I'd love to maybe for us to start there, Mohammed. If you can give people your background, tell us a little bit of kind of your background to date, what you're doing today as a starting point. I think that would be a great start.
Great. I'm a passionate CX leader with over 17 years of experience. I can say that CX is more than just my profession. It's my passion. I'm specialized in ensuring that businesses truly deliver on their promises to the customers by designing seamless experience, elevating the CX maturity and customer-centric practices, and implementing methodologies to track and improve the customer experience. So,
Amazing.
thank you.
Yeah. No, that's great. And I love that, right? It's a passion of yours as you've been in the space for so long, and that translates to all of the things that you're doing to push the community and elevate it. So that's really cool to see. And continuing that, Hannah, can you tell us a little about your current role, your company, the interesting journey to get to where you are today, and a lot of learnings. Can you give us just kind of the high level overview of where you are today and kind of how you got there?
Great. Let's start from where I was born. I was born and raised in Saudi Arabia. My academic background was in management of information systems from Philadelphia University. And I didn't work much in my education, but I had the privileges to work across multiple industries, starting with FedEx as a customer technology specialist, and then moved to the marketing research industry. I worked with the global organizations such as Synovate and Ipsos. And after that, moved to the client side, working for also a leading company in technology gear. Over time, I transitioned into CX. It was not, let's say, well known by that time. So when they start asking for CX positions, I was an early joiner of this industry. I lead some initiatives in well-known organizations such as Al Bank, Saudi Export Development Authority, and then Shawarma, one of the biggest fast food chain in Saudi Arabia. After that, Tuwaiq, which is in fintech industry. Right now, I'm heading the CX department at Riwa. Riwa is a fast-growing SaaS company. It's a startup, and at the same time, they are a regional market leader in accounting and POS services.
Oh, really cool. Really cool. Mohammed, it's always fascinating for me to listen to how someone got into customer success, because none of us go to college for customer success. it always seems like we either stumble upon the wrong, or we first were in sales and then somehow we transition because of our love for customers and getting them outcomes and everything. And I wanted to ask you, with all the experience that you have in Saudi, how have you seen customer success or customer experience evolve within the Middle East?
Very nice question. I could say both of them are new industries. I can give an approximate date. I would say we start hearing about both industries since around 10 years. Since the technology advancement lead most of the companies right now, maybe people start hearing more and more about customer success, because I found it more on tech spaces than traditional companies. So the approximate age of both industries are almost 10 years. I believe outside in Western countries, maybe more than that. Both are evolving, keep growing. I'm expecting a bright future for both industries, actually.
Beautiful. And Mohanad, I have been hearing that in Saudi, there is the Saudi government is like putting a lot of money towards helping startups. How have you seen this? Like, obviously, you just mentioned that you do work at a startup. So have you noticed that there is a significant amount of startups that are being built in Saudi?
I believe so. It became a trend at a certain point of time. And the government, it's not one or two. They have too many programs actually to support, subsidize, and empower startup with all kinds of empowerments, from financial resources to tools to training programs. It's very, let's say, proper environment for entrepreneurs to start their startup. I wish that I'm younger, but maybe it's not too late. But I believe this is one of the best countries to start your startup company.
Love that, Mohanad. Yeah, I was talking to a friend recently about it. And, in the US, like if you really want to open up your startup and get going, you would probably want to go to like the Silicon Valley, and there's like incubators, and there's a way for you actually to start doing your seed rounds and everything. But then in comparison to Dubai doesn't really have much of that. Like, it looks like Saudi is really the one that is spearheading when it comes down to startups, which is incredible. Mohammed, going back to what you were mentioning around the fascination that you have for your role and being in customer success, what would you say fascinates you the most about customer success? Because I feel like whoever is in customer success is particularly fascinated to their role by X, Y, and Z. What would you say that is for you?
For me, it's about practicing empathy. In other words, I would say understanding human behaviors, deep dive into their needs and challenges, and then solving their problems. At the same time, making the business more customer centric. I highly enjoy identifying the customer pain point, and let's say from outside in perspective, not from inside out perspective. Uh, in many cases, we will shadow our customer. We will walk in their shoes. And when I say walk, it's a real walking. By that, it is going to the field, actually, uh, shadowing the customer in the field, going to them on their natural environment. So this will help us to design the right solution for them. Actually, understanding the problem is much more important than jumping to the solutioning. So for us, we need to understand the problem from all perspectives and angles, and then we will start working on the solution. By that, we are helping the companies to bridge the gap between what they promise and what they deliver. This is very important phrase, because many companies, unfortunately, what they promise is a thing and what they deliver is totally different thing. So what's fascinating about this is advocating for customers. I call myself in the company the customer advocate. Uh, it's very challenging, but at the same time, deeply rewarding on the psychological level. Uh, it requires a balance between the customer needs and the business code. This is a very tough challenge, to be honest, uh, while ensuring that different departments are working together seamlessly. And sometimes I call myself the maestro. uh, for some. Yes, it's not easy at all, actually, like trying to connect all departments together. So the another key aspect why I love this career is bridging the gap between departments, or in another words, breaking down the organizational silos, which is a very uh, let's say poisoning culture anyway. So I try to break down the organization silos and foster collaborations across all departments.
Yeah,
I love that.
yeah, that's so good, and I think that's a key thing, right? Of as a customer success person, but especially as a CX person that's looking at the whole journey, being able to think about that from a holistic perspective and think about the different silos and how do you break them, how do you incorporate them within the overall revenue and customer journey from start to finish, is a really powerful thing if you can do it effectively within an organization. So I think that's a really good point, Mohammed. Spinning a little bit kind of short on that, right? Because we've mentioned customer success, we've mentioned customer experience and CX, so CS and CX, right? It's a constant discussion of what is CS versus CX. Are they the same thing? Are they included in each other? All these things, and I always enjoy having that conversation, asking that question, especially from CX leaders, because they'll have a little bit more holistic perspective because they understand and have done some CS and they've done CX, whereas a lot of times us on the CS leader side, maybe we haven't done as much CX over time. We focus on the CS profession more so. So I'd love to hear your thought on what do you see as the difference? What do you kind of categorize CS versus CX, and what are some of the main differences or similarities in how those two things?
Very important questions. There are a lot of misconceptions between the fields. So, in simple words, I like to call them. I would say we are cousins. Okay, but let's talk scientifically, because customer success is about ensuring that customer achieve their desired outcomes with a product or service. So they are focusing more on long-term value, retention, expansion, while customers experience is a broader perspective. Uh, we are covering the entire journey even before the first interaction start. So it's from, we called it from the need stage to brand consideration stage, where the customer didn't yet approach the company and interact with it. Uh, why we are taking care of these stages? Because customers start uh, building perceptions about the brand even before start the engagement. So we are more into creating a seamless and satisfying experience before, during, and after the customer engagement. So in practice, customer success work proactively to guide customers towards success through onboarding, training, and continuous engagement throughout the subscription period, uh, while the CX design and improve the overall journey. Uh, we do our best to remove friction across the journey. I can say that CX is a big part of the journey, but there are some stages before the customer success start engaging with the customer and even after. So it's a little bit broader, but uh, to be very fair, we complement each other. I cannot say that we are better than CS or CS better than us. We complement each other.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I agree with that take, and I think it's one of those things where CX is spanning across the entire interaction between company and customer or potential customer. Everything that happens there is where CX lives and thinks and kind of breathes on that higher level. And CS probably is the execution piece of the biggest part of that overall journey, which is on the customer side. But you have sales, you have marketing, product, others are also involved in that journey as well in different ways. So I think that's a very good explanation of how those two things differ. And yeah, being cousins, I think, is a good kind of simple way of putting it. They're related, but they're different, and they're doing some different things, but within the same family. So I love that explanation. And if we kind of double tap a little bit into the CX piece of it, right, which is your domain expertise. And I was thinking about this because at Riva, for those in audience that don't know, you guys provide both software and hardware, right? So it's fintech payment systems, and you provide both the hardware to do the things and the software to leverage it, right? And from a CX perspective, I'm sure that puts a lot of pressure on the different strategies, maybe create some different challenges. So I'm curious from a CX perspective, how you're seeing some of the main challenges in creating your strategy and executing on that strategy, and maybe some of the key priorities that you've made to effectively drive a good CX program where you are today when it's software and hardware, kind of some more complexity into the system.
Let's start from the end of the question. Like you mentioned, software and hardware. So hardware considered as a physical touch point, not a digital one. Although we are a tech company, and some people will consider that we are only providing digital interactions in this manner. But in reality, no, we have a lot of physical touch point, and this is where CX role became crucial, like actually to analyze this physical touch point and try to understand all customer pain points within it. And right after that, putting some improvement initiatives to overcome all these pain points to resolve it and remove it completely from the customer journey. So this is when it comes to physical versus digital touch point. Speaking of challenges, it's very important questions. Actually, when it comes to priority, uh, some people will fall on the trap that everything is a priority. And when we say this, it means nothing is a priority, actually. So we have from time to time to reflect and revisit our priorities in order to focus on the most important things. Otherwise, we will not be able to achieve anything at the end of the journey. Okay, I will start with the biggest challenge. Usually, culture. Culture is the biggest challenge for any CX practitioner. When I say culture, I'm talking about uh, uh, noticing customer-centric practices within the organization. And if it's not there, this is the challenge. We need to tackle it from top to bottom. If it's on the top, I wouldn't say it's mission impossible. It is possible, but it's very tough, to be honest. When it's at the bottom, it's much easier for us to tackle it uh, through different tactics and strategies such as awareness program, internal communication programs. In many cases, we will do the workshops ourselves. We will create the content, the material, and the training itself to spread such culture. We use a lot of storytelling techniques. Uh, we share phone calls, recording across the organization. We ask some executives to do shadowing and sit with the frontliners. And we ask executives to come out from the offices and do customer visits with us. So this is how we can tackle the culture challenge, I would say. Uh, we have many other challenges. If we have the luxury of time, we can go through it.
Yeah. I think that's a great one. Sure. Yeah, if you have other ones you want to mention, I'll absolutely go for it. But I think that the culture one is such a key one, and so I think and it very much makes sense that you mentioned that as the first one that you think of, because we see that in RV as well, and cross organizations, that the culture aspect from that perspective is always challenged, not on CX only, but also on the CS side, and how that's viewed internally, and the executive buy-in that you mentioned, and beyond as well.
I have another thing in my mind, actually, after the culture.
Yeah, go ahead.
When they bring us on board, actually, all CX practitioners, our main mandate is to ensure that we are providing a seamless and consistent experience across all touch points. Now, it's easier or much easier said than done, actually. Walking the talk is a very tough journey to make sure that every single touch point is seamless and consistent. This is very challenging, especially when it involves a human aspect, because the human are unpredictable creatures. So controlling them and providing consistent experience through them is very challenging. Let me rephrase this. In order to provide a seamless experience, at the beginning, we need to draft all micro journeys, customer journeys. We have it at the beginning as a macro level, and then we dig deep into each stage to draft the micro journey. Uh, we run a voice of customer program together, both quantitative and qualitative data. Those Those insights will feed the journeys and make it more informative. After that, we will do a lot of workshops with customer visits, customer shadowing, in order to make sure that our journeys are outside in perspective. From that, we will have a huge list of pain points. Like, for example, let me give you a real example. I just finished drafting 3 micro journeys out of 10, and we end up with 90 plus improvement initiatives. It is the same
Crazy.
scenario
Yeah.
everywhere, actually. You will end up with a huge list of improvement initiatives.
Right.
So the main objective behind this improvement initiative is to provide a seamless and consistent experience to our customers.
Wow.
Yeah.
Incredible. Incredible. I feel like I'm learning so much. Mohanad, I wanted to ask you, so for a company that delivers both hardware and software, how do you feel that delivering great customer experience is different between the two types of products?
If I ask you, what is the first thing come to your mind when you think of hardware? Just one word.
I mean, I immediately think of an oven.
Okay.
Pretty item.
I wish that our CEO wouldn't hear this. Okay. Okay. Let's talk about hardware. The first thing come to our mind when we talk about hardware is logistics. Like, there is a huge operation in delivering these hardware to the customers. Next thing is the unboxing experience. It's you will find some subject matter expert only working on the unboxing experience design. Then we have the installation. I'm giving you now the sub stages of the hardware stage. So we talk about logistics, unboxing, and then the installation. Actually, we went to several customers just to witness how they unbox the hardware, and then how do they install it. Were they able to connect the cables the right way? How we can make it more easier for them by manuals or drawings, whatever. And then after the installation, the configuration. Like, there is hardware part and then a software part. We need to make sure that all pieces of hardware are connected together and working properly. Once we are done with that, you have to consider also the warranty and maintenance operations and processes. So, only speaking of hardware, we mentioned around 6 or 7 sub-stages, and every single stage play a big role in the experience. What do I mean by that? Every single stage creates impressions to the customer. It is adding in a negative or a positive way to the customer impression, which at the end contribute to the total experience the customer perceiving from our brand. That's why we need to take care of every single details.
Wow.
And thinking of software, by the way, when we talk about software, you can start using the terminology user experience. It is similar to CX, but in digital realm. So software is more about usability, reliability, updates, while hardware is about clear expectations and strong support when it comes to installation and configurations. For software, intuitive user experience, clear UX writing can play a big role in creating the right perceptions to the customers.
Yeah, I love that. I love the way you explain that, Mohanad. Now, I have a question regarding some of your leadership. I've seen that you've scaled the customer experience program and team over this past few years. What would you say are some of the best learnings you had in doing so that other leaders can learn from?
It's a challenge because the awareness about the industry is not up to our wishes, let's say. So scaling CX requires first thing is strong alignment with leadership. We need to get the buy-in. If we didn't manage to get the buy-in in the first 90 days, then it's gonna ruin our rest of let's say rest of the job on the same company. So the first thing I try on the first 90 days is to have a proper buy-in from the top leadership, and then once I got that, I will start asking for resources. Like, do you like what I have done during the last 90 days? Okay, give me more resources, give me uh, some employees so I can show you more. Uh, it is the toughest phase, actually. The first 90 days is the toughest phase because we are trying to focus on the quick win, on the low hanging fruit. At the beginning, leadership in all companies I have worked with are suspicious about CX. Like, what are those people do? So we have to convince them by doing a lot of quick wins in order to convince them later on to focus on the, let's say, long-term strategic improvements. Let's say we are done with the first 90 days. We convince them, we show them a lot of improvement. We fixed a lot of things, quick wins, I would say. Then we jump to ensure that we have a clear processes. Uh, we should have a data-driven approach. A lot of leaders believe on numbers, which is not wrong for sure. And they are looking for the ROI, like what is the return on investment on customer experience. One of my key learning is that CX is not a function that work in isolation. Actually, without co-creation, without collaboration with other departments, without convincing other departments to cooperate with us, it's going to be a nightmare on us. We will end up burning ourselves because we cannot carry all issues over our shoulders. Actually, it's mission impossible to do it this way. So I do a lot of alignment with different departments, giving them guarantees that I'm here not to audit your work. I'm here to help you do the work in a better way with a win-win situation for you and for the customers. Uh, Once I get, let's say, the green light or the buy-in from them, uh, my mission would be much easier to do actually, because they're gonna help me big time. I will not involve in every single operation in this case, but I will just play a role of strategic mentor or consulting mentor for them, and then they can do the operation. CX is a strategic arm. It's a center of excellence, not an operation arm. And this is a big misconception, unfortunately, everywhere. Like they look at us as an operational department, while in reality, we are a center of excellence.
Wow, I love that, Mohannad. And I've been in both sides of the coin. One where I worked for the company that really saw value in customer success, customer experience. And then I've also been in the other end of the spectrum where it was really hard for people to understand what exactly customer success was going to be doing. But yeah, you're one. I love all the tips that you're giving leaders in this episode, because I feel like we're all trying to get buy-in from other departments, and a lot of the departments don't really understand what we're doing. But in my personal opinion, I find customer success or customer experience to be really the glue that glues all of the other departments. We oftentimes even see things before they happen just because we understand the customer journey and whatnot. So I really appreciate your perspective on that. Now, Mohannad, I wanted to ask you. Obviously, we're gonna talk about AI. So I wanted to talk to you, if you can tell us a little bit more about AI in customer experience, what that space looks like, and how you are integrating AI, or where do you see all of this going with AI in customer experience and customer success?
Great question. Let's start with an advice. Like before integrating AI in CX, as an individual, uh, I should learn a lot about AI tools, about their capabilities, when I can use this, when I can use that, and then jump to how we can utilize AI in CX. If I am as an individual don't know how to utilize AI tools, I will not be able to utilize it in CX practices. So this is my first advice. Uh, AI has been useful in automation, on sentiment analysis. It's very effective in sentiment analysis, predictive support, chatbots. Besides that, it's helping us big time in time-consuming tasks where anyone can do it. So I consider AI on personal level as personal assistant. I threw a lot of things to AI tool, and I was early adopter of ChatGPT. So I have a personal assistant hidden, nobody see him, but helping me big time. Going back to CX, second main advice would be if you want to utilize AI tools, then you have to work on the foundation. And to be more specific, foundation of uh, the product knowledge. You need to have a proper documentation. Why I'm saying this? Because AI will never understand the context and will never understand the detailed dynamics of the business. So by having a proper documentation and strong foundations for knowledge base, internal knowledge base, over that foundation, you can build whatever you want, uh, from chatbots to AI agents and etc. etc. So jumping to AI without having a strong foundation of knowledge is a big mistake. Actually, you will make the experience more miserable than a human even.
Yeah. Oh, that's such a great way of explaining it. And I think, even to add to that, I think the base of knowledge is extremely important. And the second piece, I've seen a lot of companies struggle with these days implementing AI is your data, your data that you have available to you. That's how it's accessible, what type of data is available. If that is not in a certain type of format, structure, available in a certain type of way, the AI will, to your earlier point, have very bad context and provide a really bad experience. If your documentation is not really solid, if the way that you're going to deploy AI within your journey or within your organization, it's not anchored by really good data and context and information for the AI, then it doesn't matter if you have a fancy AI agent or an assistant in there, because it's going to do a really bad job and frustrate the customer instead of actually helping. So I think that base of knowledge is so important, and the data aspect you add to those are really super important pillars.
There is one more important
Yeah,
aspect,
go ahead.
Haidar, if you allow me.
Absolutely, go ahead.
AI will definitely be more integrated with real customer interactions, smarter automations, I would say. But the most critical aspect that all practitioners should take care of is the human touch. It's very important to maintain a human touch, even if we are using AI tools, because people in general don't like robotic interactions, even when it comes for a human. Like I can give you an example. When you give a human agent script and you ask them to follow the script 100%, it will sound very robotic and will annoy the customer. It's the same scenario applicable on AI. Through the prompt, like prompt is an engineering, like you can do a lot of prompt engineering. You can educate and train AI to speak in particular tones to sound more human than robotic. So this is very important. Like, don't let your customer feel that they are talking to a robot. Uh, I will conclude
Yeah,
with this
yeah,
answer.
yeah. No, I think that's a great additional point as well. People like to speak to people, or at least if we're going to speak to AI, we want them to communicate somewhat like people, and not like a programmed computer that's just spitting out answers. So I definitely agree with that. And kind of in that round, I was kind of thinking as you're talking to a lot of these things, Mohammed, I wanted to go back a little bit to one thing that we talked about, right? I asked you about what advice you have for leaders in terms of building teams and these things. We jumped into AI. One of the things that I speak to a lot of CX leaders, director, VP level and above, and one of the things that they struggle with, which I think could be really interesting to hear how you managed, is how to prove the value of CX, how to speak about CX internally with the CEO, with the board, with the executive team in a way that gets them to move the needle, gets them to understand the impact that CX is having. And I spoke to a CX veteran recently that I think gave me a really good perspective on this. But I'd love to hear from you. How do you approach that? How do you kind of justify the CX initiatives? How do you speak in a language that the CEO and the board will actually take to and support and back what you're doing on a CX level? And this is relevant for CX as well.
Amazing. Very important question. Very critical for every practitioner to have a clear answer about it. Actually, let me start with a dream. Our dream is to find someone who is a believer on CX. I can give an example. Tony Shea, who is the founder and CEO of Zabbos. I'm not sure if you know him. He is very familiar for believing in customer experience and believing in customer service. So since he is the founder, his mentality and culture was driven, or let's say inherited from top to down. They stayed 10 years without having a CX department. Actually, every employee in Zabbos was playing a CX role, even without knowing that he is an ambassador of customer experience industry. After 10 years, they got sold to Amazon by $1.2 billion. It was very big deal, actually, at that point of time. It was back in 2009 or something. I'm not sure about the correct year. Going back to your question, to play it smart and wise, I would ask all practitioners to focus on, let's say, initiative that either reduce the cost or increase the revenue. You can easily look at the list of initiatives and start linking which of them will reduce the cost, and then prove the relationship. But it's not only about saying this initiative, if we implement it, it will reduce the cost. No, you need to prove it and specify by what percentage it will reduce it. How did you reach this projection or predictions? Uh, CEOs in general and CFOs, let's be more specific, love this kind of cause and effect relationship. Uh, so in order to get the buy-in, get the budget you need and the resources, you need to prove a direct relation between your improvement initiatives and either cost reduction or revenue generation.
That's fantastic advice. I mentioned I was speaking to a veteran CX leader about this topic offline the other day, and what he said is early in his career when he was presenting to the board every quarter, and the CEO and CFO in particular, he initially he spoke about NPS being this, survey results being that, here's how the customer satisfaction looks, CSAT, and they're kind of like scrolling on their phones during the presentation and looking at emails. And then at some point, one of these meetings, it clicked, and he changed it up and said instead, well, we have 22% of our enterprise customers are showing this type of result, which leads to X amount of lost revenue. And that lost revenue, if we don't do it by Q3, will be Y amount of lost revenue or opportunity that we're missing on expansion. And as soon as we flip that switch from speaking about the metrics that CX think about, or in CS context that CS think about, to speaking about the hard numbers and the business impact that the CFO and CEO are looking at, that is when they started paying attention and said, okay, what's your suggestion? How do we solve that? What's the solution here? How do we get to not lose that revenue, or how do we actually be able to take advantage of that revenue that's available for us? So just like you're saying, there's flipping it to revenue and speaking the language of your CFO, your CEO, the board is really critical. And myself, when I have my team presenting numbers, all these different things, you pay attention when they speak the language of the business versus the language of the practice. That's when I listen the most. So really, really good advice there, I think. Thank you for sharing that. Amazing. So, Mohammed, we'll have a section here where we always end up where we want to ask some quick questions and quick hitters. And before I do that section, I just want to, you've given a lot of really great advice and ideas. What would you say? I just want to kind of hear if you can give one piece of advice to leaders out there, whether that's CX or CS, how to make their department and how to make what they're doing impactful internally. If you could give them one thing to focus on, what would that one thing be?
I would say grit, or another terms of grit is resilience. It's very, very important for all people working under CX department is to be patient and keep trying, no matter what. We are getting negatives on daily basis because this is our natural work. We are focusing on pains and negatives. So at some certain of point, if we didn't control our emotional state, if we didn't try more and more, became resilient and be patient, uh, it might impact us negatively and we might surrender. So this is the most important skill every CX leader should practice and improve, uh, being resilient. Uh, this is what I first thing come to my mind,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
And
That's great.
control your emotions as a second level.
Yes, those two things are very much connected. You have to kind of be able to, go through the bumps and bruises of getting buy-in and getting all these pain points resolved, and then get to the end point of it, and try not let it get to you at some points, and be just very positive. So I love that. Awesome. This has been such a fascinating, great conversation. And like I said, Mohammed, what we love to wrap up with are some quick questions and answers here. And I'll kind of kick us off, and then turn over to Ivy to ask a couple questions here as well as we wrap up. So yeah, are you ready for some quick questions here?
Sure, please go ahead.
Awesome. All right. So first one, we'll start us off easy. What's kind of your favorite content right now to consume? Do you have a favorite book, podcast, anything in particular that you'd want to recommend?
Let's start with book. I'm a big fan of reading books. To be more specific, and I don't care about people judgment, but I like hard copies. I don't like digital copies. The feeling, the smell of paper, and
Like the old
being
school.
able to. It, most people would say old school, but
I like it.
I don't. I like to continue reading
I love
hard
it.
copy books. When it comes to podcast, I love a podcast called Huberman Nap by Andrew Huberman. I don't know if you know it.
Yes.
For locals, one, I mean, Arab podcast. There's a Punjan by Thamania company. Those
Very
are
nice.
my top two podcasts.
Awesome.
And I usually listen to podcasts while driving. So I'm not a big consumer of podcasts, only while driving to the company or back to my home.
Nice. Excellent. Awesome. Those are great recommendations. And I don't know. I feel like a lot of people love a good hard copy book, especially when they're relaxing or on vacation or something. So you're probably not alone in that. Definitely not. Awesome. All right. So next question for you, Mohammed, here is: do you have any favorite people to follow, get inspiration from? Any person or people you want to kind of shout out?
Yes, when I met you a couple of days ago, if you recall, we talk about this. Actually,
Yes.
the most favorite people for me are those who challenge the conventional thinking, especially in CX. So I don't like typical people who keep repeating the same theories, the same metrics. I like people who challenge these ideas. So I can give a couple of names. Over LinkedIn, I'm following someone called Matt Watkinson, and the other is Zach Hamilton. They are well known for their posts that create a lot of buzz and a lot of comments. People fight with them a lot, but I love this kind of post and conversation. I appreciate following some thought leaders. It's very hard to find the thought leaders, actually, because many people claim that they are thought leaders. If you remember, also when we met together, I asked this question like,
Yes.
I asked you, can you give me some names in customer success who you consider as thought leaders? So I like to read or follow people or thought leaders in marketing, in customer psychology, organizational psychology, like Adam Grant. He's very known for organizational psychology. So it is very tough actually to find the thought leaders, but my recommendation that people shouldn't waste their time following anyone, especially those who keep claiming that they are the best in the market.
Yeah, definitely. There's definitely a lot of thought leaders out there that's not doing much more than thinking. So I think there's some that are really excellent. I gave you some recommendations, but yeah, I agree with you there. We're getting a little bit saturated with experts in every space. So it's great to find those gems that are really doing some cool stuff and sharing some really new, innovative things and thinking out there. Amazing. And then, Mohammed, my last question for you. as we're kind of in the early stages of 2025, what is your, if you pick one thing high level, what's your favorite prediction for this year?
CX in general, well, when we talk about it, we say it's a competitive advantage. It's a competitive differentiator. So I believe that it will continue like this and become bigger and bigger, because nowadays with all this AI and technology, it became so easy to re-engineer and copy any product. But you cannot copy customer experience. You cannot copy the genuine human interactions. It's almost impossible for AI to do it for you. Um, so CX will remain and will get bigger, being a competitive advantage or differentiator. AI will play a larger role in automating and personalizing experience. But as we mentioned before, it should be based on a strong knowledge foundation.
All right, Mohammed, I wanted to ask you my favorite question that I'd love to ask every single guest. So, what is one life philosophy you like to live by?
It's gonna be the opposite of what I recommend on the first 90 days. Like I mentioned, on the first 90 days, focus on quick win. But my one life philosophy would be focus on the long term impact rather than the short term wins. I believe this what will make sustainable and long standing businesses, not the quick one, not the quick wins, but the long term strategic initiative.
And I love that because I feel like because we're humans, we like instant gratification. And I think you can apply that both in personal life and also in business. So I love that perspective. Where can people actually find you on the weekend? So when you're not at work doing customer experience, what are you up to on the weekends? And if people are trying to connect with you, where can they connect you and find you?
I'm very active on LinkedIn, not on other social media. So over LinkedIn, if people looked for my name, my contact information is available there. The first action I put is contact me through WhatsApp. Uh, Usually on Saturdays, I'm very busy with the coaching sessions. Like I dedicated more than 5 hours for the coaching session every Saturday. But people can feel free to approach me from my LinkedIn profile. They can find my contact information.
Wow, that's so amazing. Well, Haddad, I also saw you LinkedIn and I saw you were an author. Did you write a book?
Yes, I wrote a couple of books, digital copies actually, not hard copies. Right now, I'm writing a book. If you consider writing articles as a part of being an author, then I
Yeah.
wrote more than 90 articles in customer experience, but in Arabic. Like my main objective is to increase awareness for non-English speakers about this important industry.
Wow. Incredible.
That's
That's
amazing.
so amazing that you're doing that for the community. So needed.
Awesome. That's awesome. But thank you so much for your time today. And it's been such a pleasure having you on. So many great insights. I know this is going to be a really, really valuable episode for CX and CS professionals out there. So thank you for spending some time with us. It's been a pleasure. And we hope to see you on here soon again. I'll see you definitely in Riyadh next time I'm there.
But, the pleasure is mine. Thank you so much for you to inviting me for your podcast.
Oh,
Thank you,
pleasure.
Mohammed.
Thank you.
We want to thank our sponsors for supporting the Sussex Revenue Podcast. RevSetter is the #1 customer success and management platform in the Middle East region, offering global capabilities mixed with regional solutions that helps your CS, account management, and go-to-market teams 10x efficiency, improve customer experience, and turbocharge customer retention rates.
And thank you to Medlify, a leading marketplace. Workers and employers in the healthcare space needs and demands meet to create benefits for both sides. Thank you again, and we'll see you next time.